everyone.
Happy Easter. Good morning. We're going to start off this Easter morning with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. So this morning we are going to read from Matthew 28, 1 through 10. After the Sabbath, as the first day of the week was dawning, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to see the tomb. And suddenly there was a great earthquake, for an angel of the Lord descending from heaven came and rolled back the stone and sat on it. His appearance was like lightning, and his clothing white as snow. For fear of him the guards shook and became like dead men. But the angel said to the women, "Do not be afraid. I know that you are looking for Jesus who was crucified. He is not here, for he has been raised as he said. Come, see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples, he has been raised from the dead, and indeed he is going ahead of you into Galilee. There you will see him. This is my message for you." So they left the tomb quickly with fear and great joy and ran to tell the disciples. Suddenly Jesus met them and said, "Greetings." And they came to him and took hold of his feet and worshipped him. Then Jesus said to them, "Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers to go to Galilee. There they will see me." This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. So, we've got a beautiful Easter morning. And everybody's getting ready to celebrate the holiday. And it's, we've got a lot to celebrate. And one of the nice things about Easter, I think is a couple of things. One nice thing that I think about Easter is just the familiarity of it. It's a pretty special holiday for a lot of people. And it just brings you that place of peace and joy, and just be able to kind of sit back and relax and just kind of chill. And I think that's kind of nice. But sometimes with the familiarity of a thing or a place, you tend to get caught up in just the laid backness of it, and sometimes you miss the particular little special things about it. If you're not paying attention, you might miss the little things that are neat about it. But to think about what happened, like on that first Easter day, right? Jesus had been through a lot through the week. He'd been through all the stuff with going into town, riding in, and everybody says, "Oh, here comes the King," and everything's going to be great. To at the end of the week, he was actually crucified, on a cross, and the cross in Rome was a symbol of shame. That was a shameful death to die. So that he went from all the extreme highs, and the whole of Israel did, to the very lowest of lows throughout the whole week. But it brings all of that brought us to Easter, and it was so neat to really think about it. If you reflect on actually what happened that day, that when Jesus went through everything, was crucified and resurrected, he actually defeated sin, and he defeated death. He defeated sin on the cross, and he defeated death in the resurrection. It's a very cool thing. Now, one of the things about it, now I want to just kind of keep it simple today. I want to take a lot of time. I want you to be able to enjoy the day, but I want you to truly reflect on some things. Because everything that happened, it's not a prerequisite of ours to believe in order for everything to have happened. So if you believe, that's great. If you don't believe, okay. Because our belief does not supersede God's power. So all of these things happen, and Jesus did all of this for everybody, whether people believe it or not. It's very cool. Now, the nice thing is, if you do believe it, you get to enjoy the gift. You get to enjoy this beautiful gift that God sent out to all his kids, that said, I love you and I want to take care of you. It's a very cool thing. It's so special that, when you do believe, that you get to share that. Now, with that, and especially people that do believe, people that profess to follow Christ, which I think is everybody that's watching here. There's certain things, like as we're going through the day, we tend to try to do good, right? I think everybody typically in the world wants to do good. So we go out during the day and we try to do our best, and we're going along trying to live a good life and help people out as we can, and leave some goodness in the world, right? But somewhere down the line, you're going to mess it up, right? I mean, that's just the way it goes. You can't get away from it. So as hard as you try, you're still going to foul it up. You're going to, somewhere down the road, you're going to mess up. You're going to do something wrong. You're going to hurt somebody, right? It's just the way it works. So you're going to sin, okay? That's a given. You're going to sin. So now, if something happens that you think that, well, I'm doing pretty good, I don't know if I'm sinning right now, okay? Just because you thought that, well, you're sinning, okay? Because we're all sinners, all right? To go out and think that you're not, or for somebody to say I'm not a sinner, that makes Jesus a liar. So sin is just a part of life. It's just how it works right now. Now, with that, okay, we're going to sin, but what do you do with it, right? As you reflect on life, what do you do with that? And I'm not talking about reflecting on your life in the past, right? I'm not talking about worrying about the past, but what do you do right now? What do you do for the right now? If you sin today, then what? So if you're going through the world and you do something, you mess up, you say, man, I did it again. And that's good. You're aware of it. You're aware that you did it. You say, okay, I'll do it better. And then you go along, and somewhere else down the line, you do something else wrong. You sinned again. Oh, man, I did it again. But in all those reflections, and when you're sitting back, are you constantly trying to say, man, I can't believe I can't believe you did that. You know better than that. Why do you keep on doing this? Do you stay steeped in the sin, or do you try to go on and live your life? Because the cool thing that Christ did on Easter was sin is defeated. It doesn't mean that sin is not in the world. Christ did not come here to remove sin from the world. And that's not what happened on Easter. We are still sinners. Sin is still in the world. Look at what's going on right now. This is evidence of some form of it. So it's not that Christ came to make this place perfect, but what he did is he came, and what happened on Easter, he took on all the judgment. So the judgment of your sin has been completely removed. The stigma of the sin is gone. That's what happened when he was nailed to the cross. Sin was stuck there. So sin got smacked down with the big cross, the big shame stick that the Romans had. It actually nailed sin to it, not Jesus. He's not there anymore. And then when Christ was raised from the dead, was resurrected, death also got left in that tomb. So what that means for us is through the power of Christ and through that faith that he had in the Father, this whole week leading up to Easter, he had to have complete faith in the Father to take him through this. And you can see it was his faith that was carrying him through everything. Just like in the garden when he was saying, please take this cup from me, but not my will, yours be done. He was struggling. He didn't want to have to go through it, but he had complete faith in the Father that it was going to be okay. And through all of that, now we come to the other side where the power of sin is not there anymore, and the power of death, oh death, where is your sting? The power of death is gone. So the only thing that's left that we have is truly life. So we have not our power of life, but the power of life that Christ gives us to live. So you really got to step back and ask yourself, how am I actually living the life that he gave me? Am I focused on my sin, which is to focus on the death and the sin and all the badness, or are you actually going to focus on the life that Christ wants you to live, which is nothing but goodness? Because through that life and through that true life that Christ gave us, there is no sting to sin. There is no sting to death. Because we all know we're going to be resurrected just like Christ was. It's a really beautiful thing that he did on Easter. But we have to be able to truly practice to let go of all that junk that we try to hold on to all the time, and let that stuff go. And we have to learn to live in that light that Christ gives us, not anything that we want to make, but let his light shine through us. And that's how we can go out into the world, and the world can see the good news. It can see the light that shines through us. It can see the life that is possible to live, not without sin, but knowing that even in the middle of sin, we can still live a life that truly means life and not dwell on something that steeps us in death. So on this sweet Easter day, please find a way to enjoy the life that Christ has given you to live, and go out and show that to everybody you can meet. In the precious name of Christ we pray. Amen.